Hey, it's Keith. Today we're going to talk about well-forming goals. It's a process that helps you to make your goals more vivid, more compelling, and more motivating. Now, what I'm going to say here applies both to you and, if you're a therapist, to working with clients. In NLP, we have a process to ensure that your unconscious mind is on board with the goals that you set. It's called well-forming goals, and it's a set of conditions that you need to meet in order to make sure that that happens. See, the problem is, oftentimes, our conscious mind wants one thing, our unconscious mind wants another. If they're aligned, things happen like that. If they're not aligned, what happens is you get self-sabotage or resistance, or you don't feel good, or the goals aren't motivating, or you're finding an excuse. So we well-form goals to make sure that the conscious and the unconscious minds are aligned. So in this video, we'll cover a couple of the well-formedness conditions and talk about how to enhance them to make them more powerful. One of the well-formedness conditions is that the goal must be represented in sensory experience. In other words, what will you see, feel, or hear upon achieving the goal? The more you can make this imagery and soundscape and feelingscape compelling, richer, and motivating, of course, the more likely you are to get up off the couch and do whatever it is that you want to do. It's a recipe for creating a compelling goal that you move toward. So the question to get at some of this information is, how will you know when you've achieved the goal? So if your goal is to play ukulele well, maybe you'll see yourself playing a song with precision, and an audience will be there with rapt attention, and you'll hear people giving you feedback. Wow, that was wonderful. And you'll feel feelings of confidence and pride. Make sure you get it represented in all the three major systems, right? Visual, what you see; auditory, what you'll hear; and kinesthetic, what you'll feel. Then you can experiment with those to make them more compelling. Maybe the sound of the applause, if it were a little louder or a little quieter or a little closer or further away, would be more compelling. Maybe the images, bigger and brighter, would give you more of the kinesthetic feelings of pride. So experiment around with it a little bit, change things up a little bit, and notice what makes it more compelling and what makes it less compelling, and move it toward more compelling. So it's important to note that even if people have the same goal, they might have wildly different representations for achieving that goal. For instance, if there's a financial goal, one person might see their bank balance and then hear an internal voice that goes, "Way to go, Bob," especially if their name is Bob, and then have feelings of pride. Another person might be thinking about all the money that they've saved, and they'll know they've reached their financial goal when they're able to buy something that they want and still have money left over. So they may have completely different representations in their mind. They might have different auditory in their mind, and they might have different criteria or feelings for achieving that. So this is an individual process. This is highly individualized. So it's not going to work so well if you just take your representations and feed them to someone else. You need to get deep into that person's mind and figure out what it is that really makes them motivated. Remember to do this for having achieved the goal, not for the process of getting the goal. In other words, if your goal is to be healthy and fit and you want to exercise to do that, picture being healthy and fit. Feel what it's like to feel healthy and fit, and have the sounds that go along with that as well. Don't picture exercising, the sounds that go with that, and the feelings that go with that. That's probably one of the main ways people demotivate themselves. Instead of thinking about how healthy and wonderfully energetic they'll be, they think about how hard it will be on the treadmill. So in order to motivate ourselves, we think of the results, and we get the evidence for that in sensory-based awareness. So in other words, how will we know when we have it in all three major systems? Now, what happens if you're setting a goal and you feel resistance? I run across this all the time with clients. You talk about them reaching their financial goal, and you say, how is it? And they go, yeah, it's good, right? They're not congruent in it. That means there's a feeling in there that's stopping them. And oftentimes it's a belief that needs to be tackled. So they may believe that they have to have a certain sort of lifestyle that doesn't really appeal to them if they're going to have a lot of money. Same thing is true with exercising and fitness goals. They feel like, oh, I'm going to have a regimented schedule, and that resistance will come up when you're setting the goal. Right? That's good news. There's lots of things we can do there. One of the things we can do is just tell the unconscious mind to add the positive criteria. So this falls under the category of secondary gain. Now, secondary gain is what a person is getting out of doing things the way they do now. So if you want to exercise but you don't, what are you getting out of it? Well, maybe you're relaxing. Maybe you feel a sense of freedom from not having to go to the gym. So those feelings of relaxation and freedom can be added to the goal. Now, at this point, we don't have to know how we're going to have relaxation and freedom. But if you come up with resistance to the idea of exercising and they get relaxation and freedom from not exercising, just ask them to add those feelings to the goal. Say, there you are, healthy and fit, at the weight you desire, in the shape you desire. Notice how relaxed you feel and how much freedom there is. So by adding those criteria into the goal, we create a much more motivating and compelling scenario. And that's a little bit on how to set compelling and motivating goals. There's more information below the video. Click like or subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.